Hussbus bus stop.
So then he looks at me and says, "That ain't no dog. That's a full grown ape." Whoa, didn't even see you there. Nick Hussey here of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors. And I can't believe it, but looks like it's already time for this week's
Hussbus bus stop.
Today, I wanted to touch on temporary rate buydowns. So if you've been following the mortgage or real estate world this past year, you have seen mortgage interest rates higher than they were in 2020 and 2021. To help counteract this, lenders have been releasing different incentives and programs to still have mortgage payments be affordable for buyers. And the biggest one we've been seeing as of late are these temporary rate buydowns. So to jump right into it, this is completely different than paying points or fees to lower your interest rate for the whole term of the mortgage. These are only going to be temporary, and they will only affect your mortgage rate for either the first 2 years or the first year of the mortgage in the examples I'm showing, okay? So I'm going to jump in, show you some numbers, show you where the savings and costs are of this program, and then we can kind of touch on where we see it used a lot. But this can be used to help payments be more affordable to the buyers, and it can also help sellers help make their offers more appealing to buyers and get their home sold quicker, okay? So let's jump in, look at some examples, and go from there. So if you're looking at my screen now, this is a buy down calculator, right? In the example I'm showing you, we're going to be using a purchase price of $500,000, a loan amount of $400,000, our whole rate of 7%, okay? And we're going to do it off the most popular term that we see, a 30-year mortgage, all right? So typically on a 30-year fixed mortgage with a 7% interest rate on a $400,000 loan amount, your payment would be $2,661.21, okay? So here's where the buy down shows some benefit, all right? So we're going to be looking at this first one in green, this 2-to-1 buy down, okay? So how it works with this program, the first year of your mortgage, all right, is going to be 2 percentage points lower than your whole rate of 7%. So for the first year, you have a 5% interest rate. And the second year is going to be 1 percentage point lower. So from the 7, you'll be at a 6% interest rate for the second year, okay? And then for the third year, moving forward, you would go back to this 7% rate. It would be a fixed rate from there. It will not change for the rest of the 30 years, okay? So let's see where the savings are. So the first year of your mortgage at that 5% rate for this example, you'll be saving about $514 a month, and you'll have a net savings that year of about $6,000. The second year, you'll be saving about $263 a month with a net savings of that year for $3,000. And a total savings for both those years, you're looking around $9,000, okay? Now, here's the cost of this, though. It's going to be the same as the savings that you're getting. So this is going to be the cost for our example, but this cannot come from the buyer, all right? This must come from the seller in the form of a seller's assist, seller's concession, all right? So the buyer cannot pay for this. It must come from the seller. Now, to touch on our other one here, we have the 1-0 buy down. The only difference between this is it's only going to be lower for the first year. It's going to go 1% lower for the first year. So it's going to go to the 6% for the first year, and then year 2, moving forward, you'll be back at this 7% interest rate, okay? Now, obviously, you see there are savings here for the buyer. Where does this make sense, all right? First off, you cannot do this if you're not getting a seller's assist, all right? So if you're a buyer, you can't pay this out of your pocket yourself. It's got to come from the seller, so you got to make sure that you work a seller's assist into your agreement. Now, the past couple months, previously, we haven't seen as many seller's assists since it was such a seller's market, such a competitive market. It just wasn't available at that point. But as rates go up, as the market starts to slow a little bit, we're seeing that come back, all right? And it's slowly shifting into a buyer's market, even though it probably still is a seller's market right now. So you'll see these seller's assists come back. So this is a good tool to maybe use instead of covering closing costs. Maybe you want your payment lower for the first couple years. You can look at one of these buy down programs, all right? Something else you can still do, you can still refinance out of this, okay? So let's say the second year of your mortgage, you're at that 6% now. You already got the savings from the 5%. The second year, rates are now 6.25%. maybe you refinance at that time so you don't jump back up to this 7% then, okay? But worst case scenario, this is not an adjustable rate after that second year. It's going to be fixed at that initial whole rate, okay? Something else I wanted to touch on here. This isn't going to help buyers qualify for more because it's still going to be based off of that whole rate, the initial rate of whatever it is. So 7%, 6.75, whatever this initial rate is here, that's what the buyer still has to qualify on, okay? So we're starting to see a lot of people when they're selling their home use this as an incentive and offering it to the buyer. So instead of, let's say, $500,000, what they're selling their home for, instead of dropping their price to $475,000, they might say, "Hey, I'll cover a 2-to-1 buy down for the buyer," which is going to be cheaper than just cutting $25,000 off your home price, right? This could be another tool to use to help sell your home as well. So yeah, you only see it in certain scenarios. Again, sellers got to pay for it, but there is some benefit to the buyers here. Let me know. Reach out to us if you want to get into more detail about any of this or have more questions. Happy to touch on it more and happy to look at it to see if it makes sense for your scenario. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and look forward to catching you on the next one.
Hussbus bus stop.